if you all want to go ahead and start on this warm-up, we will go over it in a little bit. If you want to throw a hey in the chat, just so I know you're here, so I can say hey back. That would make me happy. And yeah. Okay. I see how it is. You are finishing up this warm-up right now. Thank you all to those of you who are doing it. Alright, y'all. So we're going to go over these two warm-up problems, just a review of like what we did last week, and we're going to jump into the new stuff, and we're going to knock it out. Goal is to be done by 10:30. So, as all the cool kids say, get it. So, perpendicular. Once again, we have our y equals mx plus b. Perpendicular means we're going to take the negative reciprocal of the slope. So negative 2 is going to turn into negative 1/2. There's the reciprocal, then make it negative. Turns it into positive 1/2. So we know our m is 1/2. 1/2. From there, we plug in y equals mx plus b, plug in our y and our x's. So 3 equals 1/2 of 4 plus b. Sorry, my email is going off. Just ignore that. And so 3 equals 2 plus b. b equals 1. And then, so then when we got our equation, y equals, we know our m is 1/2 x plus 1. There's the first one. Moving on to the other one. All we have to do is we're going to take the negative, no, not, it's parallel, excuse me, it's parallel, so the slope stays the same, and so we're not going to do the negative reciprocal, we're just going to keep the slope as it is and plug in our y and x's. So y equals mx plus b, so 3 equals negative 2 times 4 plus b, so 3 equals negative 8 plus b. Add 8 to both sides. This is one of the most common things missed on that worksheet that I signed the other day that I haven't finished grading. Add 8 to both sides, and we get 11 equals b. Whenever we have a negative 8, to add it to the other side, we have to add it. And rewrite it. Y equals negative 2. Negative 2, sorry. X, because that's our slope. It's the same slope as before, because it's parallel. Plus 11. I am tired not firing on all cylinders, but that's okay because we got to the end of the problem, we did it, and people ask questions that they haven't. Ready to go ask some questions. Cool, we're going to move on. If you have some questions, I will obviously come back and knock them out real quick. But not first, but now we're going to go on. So, what we're doing now is, instead of looking at lines and stuff, we're going to look at finding distances between 2 points. Okay, so let's say, hypothetically, there's a vertical line. That is vertical. Vertical line. No, give me my pen. Vertical line, horizontal line. We got a graph, right? We got this point up here. We got this point down here. Okay. We want to know the distance between these 2 points. Okay. So we want to know the length of this line right here. Now, if the line was, let's say if it was between these 2 points, that'd be easy. We just count the distance, right? Because it's vertical. We could do these bottom 2 points as well. We could just count the distance because it's horizontal. But whenever we start getting these diagonals, when we start trying to solve for this blue distance here, you can't just count because it's on a diagonal. It's not square. Okay? And so what we have to do is there's 2 different ways we do it. One way is use the Pythagorean Theorem, okay, which you all know. I'm going to teach you how to throw it together on this. The other way is to use the distance formula. The distance formula is new, but we'll teach it to you. It's just a plug and chug formula, and you got it. And you're going to be able to choose which one you like to do best, all right? So, jumping into the Pythagorean Theorem. Our first step for the Pythagorean Theorem is, first of all, if you remember that Pythagorean Theorem is just our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we use it when we have right triangles. Okay, so what we're going to do over here is we're going to make a right triangle. So bring this down, bring it over, right angle. Lo and behold, oh my golly gee, we have a right triangle. Boom. We got ABC, which makes this side A. This makes this side B. This makes this side C. And we can go from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to count and find out what our A is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A equals 5. B is 1, 2, 3. So 5 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared. 25 plus 9 equals C squared. So C squared equals 34. So C equals radical 34. Which, grab my calculator that I threw away. I found it, don't worry. I'm sorry if I just bumped the mic. Radical 34 is 5.8. That's our answer. You can leave it in the radical form, or you can leave it as the 5.8, up to you. But it's just Pythagorean Theorem. Y'all know how to do this, hopefully. So we move on. Let me know if you have questions, obviously. I'm going to do number 11, and after I do number 11, y'all are going to do number 12. So number 11, Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Draw a triangle. Right angle. So we count our side lengths now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 7 squared plus B is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just counting the grid lines. Be careful, the grid lines might go by 2s or something like that. If they do, you got to count by 2s. B is still 7, is 7 as well. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 7 squared plus 7 squared equals C squared. 7 squared is 49. So C squared equals 98. So C equals 7 radical 2, which is the same thing as 9.9. That's our answer. So I'll give you a few minutes to try number 12 on your own, and then we will go over them. Let's say 2 minutes to try number 12. Then we'll go over it. And then, yeah, if you have some questions, please ask them. And, yeah, number 12 on your own. Ready to go. Is anyone here other than Jaden? I see we have 4 viewers, but sometimes that number is off. Hey, Drew. Give you about another like 30, 45 seconds. It doesn't really matter. Let's say 10th, just because we can. If you round to hundreds, it'll be fine. It'll be specific later. All right, let's go over these. So, once again, we have our a squared plus b squared equals c squared equals c squared. Make our triangle. Right triangle. When you count, it's 5 and 5. So 5 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. So c squared is going to be equal to 25 plus 25. I just switched it up because I was going to have to do that eventually. C squared equals 50. C equals radical 50, which is 5 radical 2, which is 7.1. And that's it. And that is finding distance with the Pythagorean theorem. So hopefully that is something that's like, oh yeah, I have done this before. It's just Pythagorean theorem. Now we're just putting a different name on it. But yeah. So we move on. We keep going. Next thing is the distance formula. Okay. Really, the distance formula is just the Pythagorean theorem. I'll show you all that later. But for the distance formula, you just plug things into this formula. Okay, the important part about the distance formula is follow your algebra rules. Make sure you don't mix up like order of operations. You put things in your calculator right with parentheses. I'll go over some of the common mistakes as we go over this first problem. And the other thing is to make sure that your second point stays your second point and your first point stays the first point. Okay, so using this formula, if we say that 6, negative 2 is our second point here, we have to make sure we use 6, negative 2 as our second point over here. Like you have to make sure the y's and 2s and x2s match up. So I'll go ahead and do this. So it's just square root of our x2 is 6 minus our x1 is negative 3. So we got to put parentheses around that. And then close the parentheses and square it. You can throw this all in your calculator in one giant step. I like to break it down and do it in multiple different steps, but if you'd like to do it all in one giant step, you can do that as well. Plus then y2. Alright, so this is where we have to make sure we use 6 as our x2, which means we have to use negative 2 as our y2. So negative 2 minus 1 squared. Then start simplifying. So then we have 6 minus negative 3. 6 minus negative 3 is the same as 6 plus 3. So this is just going to be 9 squared. Forgot my square root sign. So 9 squared plus negative 2 minus 1 is going to be negative 3 squared. You keep going. Then you're going to get the square root of 81 plus 9. So that's square root of 90. And square root of 90 is 9.5. So, some mistakes that you might make in there. Okay, x2 and y2 is getting x2s and y2s mixed up. This 6 minus negative 3, that becomes 6 plus 3. Not knowing that can get you mixed up. And then last one is this little green box here. This term right here will switch some people up. If you just write negative 3 squared in your calculator is going to split out negative 9. Okay? And we know that's not true because we know negative 3 times negative times negative makes it positive. Okay? And so when you plug this in your calculator, make sure you use parentheses to say negative 3 squared. And when you do that, you will get the 9. Whoever's phone's going off, you'll turn that off for me. I'm kidding. It's mine. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to turn off my volume. So, yeah, that is something to watch out for. Whenever you plug in your calculator, make sure you use your negatives correctly. And, yeah. So I'm going to do the second one together again. So the formula, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Then we go through and we plug everything in. So x2, this is going to be my second point. This is going to be my first point. This will be giant square root. My x2 is negative 4 minus my x1 is negative 1 squared. We're just plugging everything into the formula. y2 is 1 minus y1 is negative 1 squared. So negative 4 minus negative 1. So negative 4 plus 1 is going to be negative 3 squared plus 1 minus negative 1 is going to be 1 minus negative 1. Sorry, I'm thinking. It's the same as 1 plus 1. It's going to be 2 squared. And then you keep going. Negative 3 squared is 9. Plus 2 squared is 4. It's all still square rooted. So we get square root of 13. Square root of 13 is 3.6. And that's it. I'm going to pause here for a second. Let y'all absorb that. Let y'all ask whatever questions you have, because I know someone has a question, because I know someone's paying super good attention and has something to think about. And yeah. So we're pausing, we're waiting, and then in a second I'll move on. Alright, cool. So I hope that means we're good. If not, ask a question, we'll come back to it. Go ahead and try number 7 on your own. No, let's try number 8. Number 8 sounds more fun. Let's try number 8 on your own. And give y'all a few minutes on that. And then we'll go over it. And then we'll be done. So give y'all like let's say 3 minutes to try number 8. And someone's going to ask me a question now. I believe it. I can just feel it in my bones. Alright, let's go ahead and go over this one. So first step first, write out your formula. It's 2 minus x1 squared. Oh no, I ran out of radicals. It's okay, I can just make it bigger. y2 minus y1 squared. Let's say that this is my 2, this is my 1. So my x2 is negative 4. Minus my x1 is 2 squared, plus my y2 is 3 minus y1 is 2. My arm's getting tired, my handwriting is getting worse, but it's okay. So negative 4 minus 2 becomes negative 6 squared, plus 3 minus 2 is 1 squared, so we get 36 plus 1, so radical 37, which of course equals, you all know because you already did it, my calculator is messing up, give me a second, is 6.1. And then that's it. So for you now, we got homework. It's due Tuesday night, but honestly, I think I'm gonna knock it out right now. It's 12 problems. I give y'all 2 days just in case you'll have some other class to deal with, but you can do it today. Up to you. I know y'all are nice, mature young adults who are going to budget their time appropriately and not wait to do it at 11:50 on Tuesday night. So it's posted on Google Classroom. 12 problems. Some of them say to use Pythagorean theorem. Some of them say use distance formula. Some of them say do whatever you want. If you forget the distance formula, if you just go to the internet and Google geometry formula sheet Georgia, okay, click this first link. It's the geometry formula sheet Georgia DOE. That link will take you to the formula sheet that we would use on the milestone. And if you look, lo and behold, there's the distance formula right there in the middle. Well, at the top left. So that can help you out. I'm also going to post these PowerPoint slides once we get off. Once we stop broadcasting. And yeah, I'll stick around here for a little bit to see if anyone has any questions. But other than that, we are done. We're good. We got this. And yeah, ask me some questions. If you wanted to start on that worksheet and see if you can find some questions that you're going to need to ask, that'd be cool too. How's life? Life is pretty good, but pretty stressful, you know? Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's difficult to... It's all new. Everything's new right now. And whenever things are new, things are nerve-wracking, because you don't know if you're doing everything right. But, you know, I'm doing everything I can, taking care of myself, taking care of my family, and just doing my best. So, I guess at the end of the day, it's good, you know? Everyone I know is healthy, and that's important right now. How about you? How's life? So they're still going in. Yeah, that's tough. My mom is in the same boat. Well, my dad's a teacher, so he's working from home like I am. And then my mom, I'm living with my parents, by the way, because, you know, save that rent money. But yeah, I get that, because she's a pharmacist, so she's in every day. And yeah, you gotta take care of yourself at home. Quiet can get pretty boring sometimes, but that's how it works. Oh no, that's not good. Let me go and look at it. I think it should be up there. So I'm bringing over the screen right now so you can see my screen. But basically what happens is I come over here. Oh, you found it. Awesome. If anyone else still can't find it, you go to the home page, you click this three dot lines in the left, go to Geometry Pet Mickey, because that's where we're at, hit classwork, and there it is. Booyah. And 2 people have already turned it in. Awesome. I'm not going to show who they are because that might be some privacy things. Alright, I'm going to go and log off. If y'all have some questions, feel free to email me. If I need to come back on to show you some stuff on here, I will do that as well. But yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I will see y'all Wednesday. We're going to do this again on Wednesday and move on with some new stuff. So, adios.